I clicked send on what I thought was a simple flower delivery. 24 red roses for my girlfriend Sarah on our anniversary. Standard romantic gesture, right? Wrong. One mistyped address would unravel a web of lies that had been carefully constructed for 3 years. What happened next destroyed 2 relationships and exposed secrets that changed everything. My name is Marcus Chen. I'm 29 years old and work as a software developer here in Portland. I met Sarah 3 years ago at a coffee shop downtown. She was reading some mystery novel, completely absorbed, and when I asked what she was reading, we ended up talking for 2 hours. She had this laugh that just drew you in, and these green eyes that seemed to see right through you. We started dating within a week. Sarah worked as a marketing coordinator for a mid-sized tech company. She was ambitious, driven, always working late on campaigns and client presentations. I respected that about her. We both understood what it meant to build something from nothing. Our relationship felt solid, built on trust and mutual respect. For our 3-year anniversary, I wanted to do something special. Sarah had mentioned weeks earlier that she loved red roses but had never received any. She said her ex never bothered with romantic gestures like that. I made a mental note. This was my chance to show her how much she meant to me. I found a local florist online called Bloom and Blossom. Their website was clean, professional, with great reviews. I ordered 2 dozen red roses with a card that read, "3 years of loving you, and this is just the beginning. Happy anniversary." Beautiful. I was proud of that message. Simple, but heartfelt. The delivery was scheduled for Friday afternoon, right to her office. I wanted her coworkers to see, wanted everyone to know how lucky I was to have her. Sarah always worked late on Fridays, so I knew she'd be there when they arrived. I typed in what I thought was her office address, 1247 Northwest Industrial Boulevard, Suite 302. Hit submit, paid the $160, and felt satisfied with myself. This was going to be perfect. Friday came and went. I waited for Sarah to call or text about the flowers. Nothing. She came home that evening around 8, kissed me hello, and started talking about her day like normal. No mention of roses, no thank you, no excitement. I figured maybe the delivery got delayed. Saturday morning, I casually brought it up. How was work yesterday? Anything interesting happen? Sarah looked at me with those green eyes, completely genuine. Just the usual chaos. Why? My stomach started to tighten. Nothing special delivered to your office? Like what? She seemed genuinely confused. I called Bloom and Blossom immediately. The woman who answered sounded professional, but tired. Marcus Chen, order number 47,291. Yes, I see here that delivery was completed Friday at 2:15 p.m. Signature received. Who signed for it? I asked. Let me check. A woman named Lisa Martinez signed for the delivery. Lisa Martinez. I'd never heard that name before in my life. Sarah had never mentioned anyone named Lisa at her office. Can you confirm the delivery address? I asked. 1247 Northwest Industrial Boulevard, Suite 302. That was exactly what I'd typed in. So, why didn't Sarah receive the flowers? After I hung up, I pulled up Google Maps and typed in Sarah's actual office address. My blood ran cold. Her office was at 1274 Northwest Industrial Boulevard, Suite 302. I'd reversed the numbers. 1,247 instead of 1,274. I'd sent 2 dozen roses and a love note meant for my girlfriend to a complete stranger. My first instinct was to laugh it off. Honest mistake, right? Some random woman got free flowers. Sarah would find it funny when I told her. I'd just order another arrangement and everything would be fine. But something nagged at me. I decided to drive over to 1247 Northwest Industrial Boulevard and see what kind of business was there. Maybe I could explain the mix-up and get the flowers back, or at least apologize for the confusion. The address led me to a small office complex, nothing fancy. Suite 302 had frosted glass doors with Martinez Consulting Services printed in simple black letters. Through the glass, I could see flowers on a desk. My flowers. I stood there for 10 minutes, working up the courage to go inside. What was I going to say? Hi, sorry, those roses were meant for someone else? It seemed awkward and embarrassing. A woman emerged from the office, mid-20s, dark hair pulled back in a professional bun, wearing a navy blazer. She was attractive in that polished, business-casual way. She looked at me standing there and smiled. "Can I help you?" she asked. "I'm Marcus," I said. "I think there was a delivery mix-up. Those roses in your office? They were supposed to go to my girlfriend." Her expression shifted. Something I couldn't quite read flickered across her face. Oh, the roses. Yeah, I fat-fingered the address when I ordered them. Typed 1247 instead of 1274. Honest mistake. She studied me for a moment. "Your girlfriend's name is Sarah, right?" My stomach dropped. "How do you know that?" Lisa Martinez looked at me with something that might have been pity. "Because she's been telling me about you for months." The world tilted. "What?" "Maybe we should go inside and talk," Lisa said quietly. I followed her into the small office. The roses were sitting on her desk in a crystal vase, looking beautiful and completely out of place. Lisa gestured to a chair across from her desk. "Your girlfriend Sarah has been my client for the past 6 months," Lisa said, sitting down behind her desk. "Client for what?" "I run a private investigation service, mostly background checks, asset searches, that kind of thing. But Sarah hired me for something different." My hands started to feel cold. "Different how?" Lisa opened a drawer and pulled out a thick manila folder. "She hired me to investigate you, Marcus." The room felt like it was spinning. "Investigate me for what?" "She suspected you were cheating on her." I stared at her, trying to process what she was saying. "Cheating? I've never cheated on Sarah. Not once in 3 years." "I know," Lisa said, "because I've been following you for 6 months, and you're exactly what you appear to be. A loyal boyfriend who works too much and plays video games in his spare time." This was insane. Why would she think I was cheating? Lisa leaned back in her chair. "That's what I've been trying to figure out. Because the evidence suggests something else entirely." She opened the folder and pulled out several photographs. The first one showed Sarah outside a restaurant I'd never seen before, holding hands with a man I didn't recognize. "This was taken 3 weeks ago," Lisa said. The next photo showed Sarah kissing the same man in what looked like a parking garage. 2 weeks ago. The third photo showed Sarah entering an apartment building with the man, his arm around her waist. Last Tuesday night, the night she told you she was working late on the Henderson campaign. I sat there staring at the photos, my brain refusing to accept what I was seeing. This can't be right. "There are more," Lisa said gently. She showed me photo after photo. Sarah with this mystery man at coffee shops, restaurants, walking through downtown Portland together. Timestamps and dates documented everything. Tuesday nights, Thursday afternoons, weekend mornings when she claimed to be running errands. "Who is he?" I managed to ask. "His name is David Reeves. He's a client at her company. Divorced, 2 kids, lives in that apartment building where I photographed them." My chest felt tight. "How long?" "Based on what I've documented, at least 8 months, but probably longer." 8 months. While I was planning anniversary surprises and thinking about our future together, Sarah was living a double life. Why did she hire you to investigate me if she was the one cheating? Lisa set down the photos and looked at me directly. Because she was planning to leave you, and she needed justification. If she could prove you were unfaithful, she could walk away guilt-free, make you the bad guy. The pieces started falling into place. The late nights, the new clothes, the way she'd started keeping her phone face down. The questions about my schedule, my whereabouts. She wasn't being suspicious because she thought I was cheating. She was being careful because she was. But you never found anything, I said. Nothing. You're probably the most faithful boyfriend I've ever investigated, which created a problem for Sarah. Lisa pulled out more documents from the folder. Bank statements, credit card receipts, hotel records. The evidence was overwhelming and methodical. Sarah had been living two separate lives with the precision of someone who'd done this before. She's been paying for everything in cash when she's with David, Lisa explained, pointing to withdrawal patterns. But she slipped up a few times. Hotel charges, restaurant bills that don't match what she told you she was doing. I studied the bank statements. Regular withdrawals of $200, $300. Always on days when Sarah claimed to be working late or meeting girlfriends. Days that now corresponded perfectly with the surveillance photos. This goes back further than 8 months, I said, noticing the pattern. Much further. The cash withdrawals start about 18 months ago, right around the time she got promoted and started handling the Reeves account. 18 months. Half of our entire relationship had been a lie. While I was falling deeper in love with her, planning a future together, she was systematically deceiving me and planning her exit strategy. There's something else, Lisa said, her voice careful. Something that makes this more complicated. She pulled out a lease agreement. David Reeves had signed a new apartment lease 6 weeks ago. A 2-bedroom place in the Pearl District. Sarah's name was listed as an authorized occupant. She's already moving in with him, I said, the words feeling foreign in my mouth. It appears so. But Marcus, there's more you need to know about why she hired me. Lisa opened her laptop and pulled up what looked like a financial document. Sarah didn't just want to prove you were cheating. She wanted to prove you were hiding assets from her. Assets? We're not married. We don't share finances. Exactly. But she seemed to think you had money hidden somewhere. She specifically asked me to investigate your bank accounts, your company stock options, any potential inheritance. This made no sense. Sarah knew exactly what I made, where I worked, what I owned. We'd talked about finances plenty of times when discussing moving in together, splitting bills, planning trips. Did you find anything? I asked. Nothing she doesn't already know about. Your savings account, your 401k, the small stock portfolio from your company. You're doing well for yourself, but you're not hiding secret wealth. Lisa closed the laptop and looked at me directly. Marcus, I think Sarah was planning to take you for whatever she could get. The infidelity investigation was just the first step. My phone buzzed, a text from Sarah. Working late again tonight? Don't wait up. Love you. I showed Lisa the message. She checked her notes. David picked up his kids this weekend. They're probably at his place right now. The casual cruelty of it hit me. Sarah was texting me that she loved me while sitting in another man's apartment, playing house with his children. The same woman who told me she wasn't ready to talk about kids because she wanted to focus on her career first. What happens now? I asked. That depends on what you want to do with this information. You could confront her directly, but she'll probably deny everything and claim the photos are fake or taken out of context. Or you could let her play out her strategy and see how far she's willing to go. But Marcus, you need to understand something. This isn't going to end with a simple breakup. Lisa pulled out another document. I did some background research on Sarah while I was investigating. This isn't her first time doing this. She handed me a printout of court records. Sarah had been involved in 2 previous lawsuits. Both were breach of contract cases involving former boyfriends. Both involved claims of emotional distress and financial damages. She has a pattern, Lisa explained. Long-term relationships, usually 2 to 3 years. She identifies men who are financially stable but not wealthy enough to fight back effectively. Then she creates situations where she can claim victimhood and extract settlements. The coffee shop where we met. Sarah reading that mystery novel, completely absorbed. I'd thought it was chance, but now I wondered if she'd been watching me, learning my routines, positioning herself to meet me. How did her previous cases end? Settlements. Both men paid, rather than go through prolonged legal battles. One paid $45,000. The other paid $62,000. My savings account had about $70,000 in it. Everything I'd worked for over the past 5 years. She's done this before, I said, more to myself than to Lisa. The pattern is identical. The only difference is that this time she hired me to build a stronger case against you. She wanted professional documentation of your alleged infidelity, but when you couldn't find any evidence, she kept pushing. Asked me to dig deeper, to find something, anything she could use. When I told her repeatedly that you were completely faithful, she became frustrated, then angry. Lisa pulled out her phone and showed me a text conversation between her and Sarah. Sarah, you're not looking hard enough. Every man cheats. You just need to catch him. Lisa, I've been following him for months. He goes to work, goes home, occasionally meets friends for dinner. That's it. Sarah, then make something up. I'm paying you enough. Lisa, I don't fabricate evidence. If you want to end this investigation, that's your choice. Sarah, find something, or I'll find someone who will. I stared at the messages. The woman I'd loved for 3 years, the woman I'd been planning to propose to, was actively trying to destroy my life based on lies. When was this conversation? 2 weeks ago. Right after that, she stopped responding to my calls and emails. I assumed she'd decided to drop the investigation. Until the flowers arrived. Until the flowers arrived? Lisa confirmed. With a card that said you'd been loving her for 3 years, and it was just the beginning. It seemed wrong to keep this from you. The irony was devastating. My romantic gesture had accidentally exposed the truth about the woman I'd been planning to spend my life with. If I hadn't mixed up those numbers, I might never have learned what Sarah was really doing. There's one more thing, Lisa said. Sarah called me this morning. My stomach clenched. What did she say? She wants to meet on Monday. She said she has new information about your activities and wants to hire me again. New information? Lisa's expression was grim. I think she's planning to move forward with her exit strategy, with or without evidence of cheating. She's probably going to claim emotional abuse, financial manipulation, something that's harder to disprove. The flowers on Lisa's desk seemed to mock me. 24 red roses, beautiful and expensive, sitting in a stranger's office, while my entire relationship crumbled around me. The card was still attached. 3 years of loving you, and this is just the beginning. But it was the beginning of something completely different than what I'd intended. It was the beginning of the end, and the beginning of discovering who Sarah really was beneath the mask she'd worn for 3 years. What would you do? I asked Lisa. She was quiet for a long moment, then reached into her desk drawer and pulled out a small recording device. I'd be very careful about what happens next, she said. Because Sarah isn't going to go quietly, and she's not going to tell the truth. I took the recording device from Lisa's desk, feeling its weight in my palm. Such a small thing to hold so much power. If Sarah's planning to fabricate claims against me, I need to protect myself, I said. Lisa nodded. Document everything. Every conversation, every text, every interaction from this point forward. Oregon is a one-party consent state, so you can legally record conversations as long as you're part of them. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Sarah. Can't wait to see you tonight. I have something important to tell you. I showed Lisa the message. Her expression darkened. This could be it, she said. She might be planning to have the conversation where she accuses you of cheating, sets up her narrative for whatever legal action comes next. Should I pretend I don't know anything? That's your call. But Marcus, if you confront her about David, about the investigation, she'll know you've been talking to me. She'll spin it as you hiring a private investigator to stalk her. The trap was elegant in its simplicity. Sarah had created a scenario where any move I made could be twisted against me. If I stayed quiet, she'd continue manipulating me until she was ready to strike. If I confronted her, she'd claim I was the one being deceptive and invasive. How long do I have before she meets with you on Monday? 2 days. But Marcus, I need to tell you something else. I'm not taking her as a client again. Why not? That recording device is still in my drawer today, 3 months later. I never had to use it. When I got home that night, I told Sarah about the flowers, about meeting Lisa, about everything I'd learned. She didn't deny it. She just packed her bags and left. No drama, no legal threats, no fabricated claims. Sometimes the truth is enough to end things cleanly. The roses Lisa kept eventually wilted, but they served their purpose. One wrong address changed everything, and honestly, I'm grateful for that mistake.